Ellen McCauley at Pray It Off in Syracuse, New York. And we're living in a very difficult time. It's worse than ever. You can't go to school, you can't go shopping, you can't go anywhere without a certain amount of fear. So the only way, like Mary Ellen said in her Bible reading, the only way to find peace, and I do think the Blessed Virgin means peace on earth, peace against wars. But where does it start? It starts with inner peace in each one of us. It starts with us spreading the peace. It starts with us spreading the joy. When I looked around our room at the senior celebration luncheon, I saw the most diverse crowd ever, and I just loved every single one of them. We are all equal in God's eyes. And I think the peace has to start in our mind. And there is a battle over the mind. And Joyce Myers wrote a book, and she's one of my girls. And it's called Battlefield of the Mind. And I won't get rid of it. It's one of the few books that I've read twice because we are living in a fallen world, and I feel bad for these young people because they don't have that faith that we have, that we can go to. So the peace has to start with us. As long as we live in this world, we will have exposure to it. We'll have exposure to the darkness, so we have to spread the light. We need to filter out the garbage. And there's a lot of garbage. So many people are like, they saw that on the dark web. It was on the dark web. The only dark web I have is when I turn my office light off. I don't even know where the dark web is. I don't want to know. What do you do? www.darkweb.com? I have no idea. And I don't want to know, because as soon as I start looking for the dark web, the FBI will be going, Ellen McCauley, were you looking at the dark web? I don't want to know, but there's a lot of garbage. So we need to take our minds, focus on God, and one of the things that has helped me is that I read the Bible. I say the rosary, and I listen to praise and worship music. So that filters out a lot of the garbage. I don't listen to any of the music. Like I was in my car on a nice day recently, and the guy next to me was playing rap, and it was the lyrics, and my car was shaking. And I'm like, whoa, those lyrics, swear word, bad word. To me, that would contaminate me, my soul. I just don't want that. I'd rather listen, praise Jesus, that's what I like. So sometimes it talks to find peace, you need to go to an isolated place. Many of us live with kids, family. I don't get a lot of isolation. I would, when I drive to work every morning, I have isolation then. I'm in my car, and I usually am very quiet, and that's my chatting to God. They suggest keeping a journal, and I like journals. It does give me some peace. And you know what gives me peace? Reading. I always read, not my whole life, but the past 5 or so years, because I only do this much a day. And it gives me peace to see where I've come, the journey, etc. Even a gratitude journal. Even if you don't write it down, but every night before you go to bed, if your last thought was this, thank you for that luncheon, thank you that we had a successful time, or thank you that my loved ones got back safely from their trip, or thank you that, I have food to eat. Just any kind of thank you at all. And the next step is praise. I don't know about you, but the skies have been so beautiful. And I just look and I go, whoa. Not when I'm driving, but try not to stare at the sky when I'm driving. But I feel God when I look at the sky. And I just praise him. Like Vince and his girlfriend last Friday flew to Santa Fe, went to a rehearsal dinner, went to a wedding on Saturday, came back on Sunday. It was like, and they did like 3 different planes, and they're moving here, and and then one was a puddle jumper. And anybody who's a parent, who's got kids that are traveling, when they get home safely, you're just so grateful. And the book of Psalms is a good place to start if you need peace. And then the prayer. As I said, it is a conversation. As soon as I discovered that God knows me better than I know myself. I don't have to have these This one lady got up to do a speech today, and she talked about volunteering in her own way, in her own inimitable way. And I said, that is so beautiful. That was like a prayer to God. Some people's lives are prayers to God. It was beautiful. And meditation. You know, that's an area that I need to work on because I don't shut up much in my normal life and in my mind. My mind is like, So meditation is something that I'm going to begin to start to really think about maybe in session 28. But here's the biggest thing about all things in our life. We just need to do it. We need to think about peace. We need to think about prayer. We need to think about healthy living. And I really think this group is doing extremely, extremely well. And we need to ask God for that peace. You know, what can we do? Well, we can bring in 3X clothes if we've got them for a woman who lost it in a fire. We can see if there's any kind of things we can do to help people who are suffering. And, you know, so many people try the drugs and the drink and all kinds of things to fill that void, to try to get peace. But I can tell you, I never got peace from the food or peace from drinking too much. The only peace I ever really got in life is knowing I was doing God's will, coming here and praying it off. And Bob and I never realized how peaceful it was once 4 kids left the house. We're like, what? You know? And we miss them, but it's interesting. And then we also always have to, the peace can come too by forgiving ourselves, stop thinking about the past, stop worrying about the future, and living in the present. And you know, if we've accepted Jesus Christ, and I'm pretty sure everyone in this room has, then we need to know that He's there waiting to give us help. Fear is a product of uncertainty. You know, one woman who won the award, I told you she had the cerebral palsy, she said, God gives us what He thinks is best, and we need to know how to react to it. Hello? And how true is that? So we can't say, well, I want God to do everything my way. We just have to say, Jesus, I trust in you. And we need to just say that a lot. I trust. I trust. No one ever needed a psychiatrist because they had too much peace of mind. Right? The key thoughts are to accept everything and be truly thankful for everything. It's hard for me when I think I'm going like this, and then all of a sudden it's over here. I usually rail against it. I usually say, no, I don't want to go over there. I'm going here. This is me. I'm here. What? And sometimes, on a few occasions, I've said, okay, God, if you want this, lead me, guide me, show me the way. We need to accept it. We need to understand what it is. And David did a lot of stuff that wasn't good. And he was one of God's favorite guys. And he confessed his sin. So we need, if we're feeling guilt, we need to make sure we've confessed it. And if we have confessed it, we really need to let it go. We are loved. Feeling unloved is probably the worst feeling you can have. And sometimes my mother will say, how was Pray It Off? And I'll say, it was a love fest. I love them. I love them. And I felt today's senior celebration luncheon was a love fest. Who doesn't want love fests in their life? I do. I don't want to go somewhere and not feel the love. Also, there's ways you can increase your peace of mind. I'm going to stop right there, Bob, and I'm going to go right through it.